management accounting. A very short topic, a topic of 5 minutes, but also highly examinable. It's a theory topic, environmental management accounting. Can someone try, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, to define this for us? What is EMA? You know, for definition, even if you don't understand the definition very well, you start by saying, for example, it's a system that does what? It's a system that does what? Is there anybody who has tried environmental? Remember the good thing, even when you're at home, you can Google these things. Well, will not get to know. So long as we learn, that is the most important thing. So long as we learn.
Eva Mararo say analyzes how the company processes.
Emma, according to Eva, analyzes how a company processes affects the environment, of course, in terms of accountability. Every company has to be accountable. Your processes, your emissions, your production, how is it affecting the environment? How is that affecting the environment? So in terms of accountability, then you'll be required to do what? To capture that information. You have to gather the information. You must, in this case, analyze that information. And then you report that information to the management for decision making. In terms of EMA, you as an accountant, is this EMA, is environmental management accounting important to an organization? I mean, issues of environment. Why should we be thinking about them as accountants? What do you think are the key advantages of running an environmental management accounting system in your company? Give me 4 advantages. 4 advantages of running an EMA system in your company. Someone talk to me tonight. Talk to me tonight.
Saying cost reduction.
Cost reduction, I love that. And by the way, this question has been set severally. If you look at, for example, May 2014, you'll be able to see where the examiner required, with reference to the above statement, evaluate 4 ways in which an environmental costing system could lead to improved financial performance. The same as asking us the advantages, like they asked us just the other day. Advantages of environmental management accounting. Advantages of environmental management accounting. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we start accounting on the effects of our operations to the environment, you are right, we shall be able to reduce costs. I like that. Cost reduction. Cost reduction. How does this happen, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, for companies that are quite sensitive to the environment, you always get them talking about recycling. They recycle even papers. They recycle waste paper. So, for example, you'll have them having like a lagoon where water from ablution goes. And then that lagoon, they'll have water treatment site. And of course, from the lagoon there, that water has been treated there, it will find, for example, its way to the grass, watering of grass. We don't just use things like that and then we throw them to the environment. No. If we are environmental conscious, we are a company which is environmental conscious, ladies and gentlemen, costs will have to go down. Look at, for example, Safaricom. And I would want you guys to be reading like the sustainability report. The sustainability report of Safaricom. You will see, for example, Safaricom saying that in the year, for example, 2018, their Kenya Power bill was about, say, 25 million. And then they'll come to the year 2019, you will see their Kenya Power bill, for example, went down all the way to 19 million, a savings of what year? 6 million. And then these guys are quite nice. And the sustainability report where they want to prove to the public and, of course, even beyond our country here, they want to make people believe that their model, their business is sustainable in the long term. They'll start telling very good narrations there where they tell the public that we have to save on energy. We have to save on energy because of what here? Global warming. Global warming has become a big threat. We have to save on energy, and as such, we can see that you guys can see that our electricity cost went down by about 6 million. So what do we do for us to have this happening? For example, you can go to their Westlands offices. Now they're using what we call the clean energy. They're using solar. Look at, for example, Strathmore University. All their roof, they decided to put solar on top to the extent that Strathmore is able to sell some electricity to Kenya Power. Look at that kind of innovation. Look at that kind of diversification. Those are companies that we don't expect to collapse in the near future, right? So we have here cost reduction. Any company that is quite conscious of the environment will have to see their costs doing what here, reducing. I like that. Number 2.
Accurate pricing.
Accurate pricing, I like that. Accurate pricing, ladies and gentlemen, accurate pricing, because we'll be forced to put into our product environmental costs. You'll get somebody who has been given a house like this to go and build. Somebody just does a bills of quantity saying, I need this number of bags of cement. I need this and this, without, for example, factoring in the NEMA conditions, the NEMA licenses. So after they have done, for example, a house, very beautiful house, when they want to leave the site, that is when they get somebody calling them, hey, there is this, for example, excavation you did here, we need you to make good. So you get against such companies making losses, losing their hard-earned capital, you see. So we have here accurate pricing, which automatically, ladies and gentlemen, will lead to increased what here? Revenues, of course. Or rather, you can even have the one of increased revenues as a separate point. So in this case here, a company which is increasing or increased revenues. A company, ladies and gentlemen, that is environmental conscious will always find ways of diversifying. While you try to create solutions for environmental problems, you always straight away discover new things. Look at, for example, I gave you last time an example of Mumia Sugar. Mumia Sugar, for so long, the effluent coming especially from molasses could be left flowing straight out into some river. And then when we had this Mzungu CEO on going down there, he just did his studies in a way, ladies and gentlemen, that was able to tell him that no, this effluent, which burns everything that it comes across, here, as it's moving to the river, this thing must be a good thing. So he called, in this case here, people came and did further studies, and they realized that they could use this effluent here to generate electricity. And that is why Mumia Sugar is able to generate also about 5% of the electricity we are using in our national grid. But of course, because of the corruption issues, etc., you guys know about what we're talking about, Mumia Sugar is still where? Down. But why do you think Mumia Sugar was able to discover electricity? It's because of what you're being environmental, conscious. We don't want to harm our environment. In the process of trying to find a solution for that, we discover, hey, we have this solution. And this solution gives us more money. Any other advantage, ladies and gentlemen?
Reduces litigation cases.
Reduces litigation cases. I know of companies outside here. I normally read a lot of sustainability reports for many companies. I know of some good companies, ladies and gentlemen, which are not sustainable in the long term simply because of the contingent court rulings which they are waiting for on issues to do with what here? Environment. Look at, for example, ladies and gentlemen, a good example is this express highway. Along Mombasa Road, express highway from JKIA all the way to Westlands. These guys went and started very fast. But so many people were able to take so many cases to the courts, which stalled their project here for a number of months. I don't know whether they have resumed, because people are making an argument that they haven't really given us, right, there are plans, design plans, which will show that this particular road will not eat into Uhuru Park. So environmental issues can really put you into so much litigation issues. Remember, litigations, courts are not nice. Courts are like hospitals. That is why people have known, don't go to court easily. Whenever you are doing contracts, always have provisions for what here? Arbitration. Always have clauses for arbitration, not courts. So we reduce litigation costs. I like that. Any other point?
Avoid conflicts with regulatory.
Avoiding the conflicts with the regulatory authorities. I like that. I like that. We have, ladies and gentlemen, improved image. Any company that has got an environmental policy hanged somewhere up there, which is saying that it has gone green, such companies normally will have an image which will be outstanding, an image which will be better than their peers in the same industry. Thank you very much. In the same industry. Now, I would want you to project question number one. Question number one. Just go back to pick it from there. Question number one. Are you able to see question number one that I've been able to project there? Are you able to see question number one that you have been able to project there? Are you able to see it? Yes, thank you very much. So question number one reads, question number one reads, I lost mine. Question number one reads, a company is currently developing a system of environmental costing. Required, describe the key features of an environmental management system. Describe the key features of an environmental management system. I want to see whether there is anybody who can give me only two features of EMMA. Those features that I expect to see when I come to your company that is claiming to be so good to our environment. Can somebody give me only two? Only two features.
Ivamararo saying sustainability.
Thank you for trying, but that is no.
Kariuki is saying signboards.
Signboards, I like that, but there is a better way of putting it. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing, when I walk into a company like Safaricom is so big on environmental matters. If you look at their foundation is talking about environmental matters. Ladies and gentlemen, once I walk into your company, which is claiming to be so good with the environment, the very first thing that I will have to see there, number one, the very first thing that I'll have to see there is an environmental policy statement. Environmental policy statement. That's number one, environmental policy statement, which should be very clearly displayed. Very, very clearly displayed somewhere. Environmental policy statement. Is there anybody who is working for a company here, ladies and gentlemen, that is so nice to our environment? Anybody who is working for a company which is so nice to the environment? I don't ask you a question, just tell us yes if you are there, working for a company that will always keep on telling you, please recycle papers, printing papers. If you're printed on this side, and you sure that don't throw a paper which is printed on one, and then you keep on wondering how comes this kind of a big firm is telling us to recycle papers. Is there anybody who is saying yes?
Yeah, Carol Ouko.
Yeah, Carol Ouko is saying yes. Thank you, Carol. So in this case, in terms of where Carol is working, I want to believe Among the many policies that they have at their reception will be this one, environmental policy statement. That has to be there. That has to be there. Number 2, public declaration. Public declaration. Public declaration. Public declaration. Public declaration. Public declaration. Declaration. And remember, the kind of public declaration that we're talking about is not the one that you go outside there and call so many media houses and then you start telling the media houses that we are so good at. No, no, no. We need you to have an ISO certification. There are very many ISO certifications under the environment. ISO certification. That is the best way of declaring. Because the ISO has got systems of publicizing people they give these certificates to. So public declaration is a key component. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here number 3, an accounting system. An accounting system. An accounting system, an accounting and management accounting system for the environment. For the environment, that is very, very key for us, accounting systems. And of course, wherever there is an accounting system, number 4, we must have an audit system. We must have somebody else, different, independent auditor coming, ladies and gentlemen, to audit this environmental accounting reports that you have produced. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, under auditing, the auditor, I'm repeating again here, the auditor must be seen to be independent. The auditor must be seen to be independent. The auditor must be seen. The auditor must be independent. The auditor must be independent. And if you recall from your auditing, and that's why I love these papers, they are quite interrelated, auditor must be independent. Under independence, we have what we normally call the independence threats. The threat to independence. Who is able to remember these threats very fast as we move to something different? The threats to independence. Who is able to remember these threats to independence, ladies and gentlemen? The threats to independence, we always come up with these acronyms. We have what we call Mr. Who. If my cameraman can see me all the way up to here, we have what we call Mr. Surface. Mr. Surface. Remember Mr. Surface, ladies and gentlemen, the first one is what we call the self-what here? The self-interest. The first one is what we call the self-interest. If we have an auditor who has invested in our company heavily, big shareholding, this person, when we hire the person comes over to come and audit us and we misbehave in terms of the environment, there is no way this person will come and tell the public, ladies and gentlemen, that this company has been releasing, for example, carbon emissions to the environment. There is no way, because the moment you tell us that, the share value of the company will go down. You have an interest to protect. We have what we call advocacy. If this auditor, ladies and gentlemen, if the auditor has been outside there, if it is about Aura, every time I post something on Facebook, this man has been sharing. The moment I hire this same person to come and audit me, the public already knows the stand that he has against me or for me. So there is no way you will come to convince the public otherwise. So advocacy is all about witnessing. It's all about promoting some interests, promoting some positions. And then, of course, we have familiarity. If this person has been with you for so long, don't have him auditing your environmental issues. The moment we stay like for 5 years, we become like a family. Every time we'll be saying something nice about me. And then, of course, we have intimidation. Huyo amekuja akasema hii vitu ambazo zinatoka kwa hii kampuni ni mbaya. Director mmoja amekuja na bunduki akwambia utakuua because anataka kupoteza unga. So in future you will be operating under a lot of undue pressure, and if that is the case, you are always better off resigning from future audits. And then, of course, we have what we call self-review. Self-review. If this person has been involved in terms of what is somebody doing some environmental issues, accounting issues, don't have the same person coming to look at those accounts. Yes.
Nor is asking you to repeat the account system point. account system.
accounting system, that we must, for example, have an environmental management, or rather management accountant. We must have an accountant, for example, at the UN. If you go to the UN, you will get an office for simply doing environmental management accounting. The moment you have like an accountant doing that, then you have an accounting system. And whatever it's doing has to be done what year, has to be audited. And then lastly, ladies and gentlemen, number 5, we are talking about number 5 here, we must have targets. Number 5, we must have what we call targets. Targets must be there. And I really miss the late Bob Collymore. Bob Collymore, in terms of environmental issues at Safaricom, that guy was very thorough. Very thorough. Every time we could go and say, for example, this year we've been able to cut this particular percentage of carbon from the environment. I don't know how they were measuring. He could even go ahead and tell us that we have surpassed our target. So the target must always be there. The target must always be there. Any question, my good students? Any questions, my great students? Is there anybody who has a question? Anybody who has a question? We could go to May 2016, question number 4A. 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 Have they gotten that question? Have they gotten that question? That should be our last area, because they always keep on asking you, what is the role of a management accountant on environmental issues? What is the role of management accountants on environmental issues? On environmental issues. So if you read that question very well, my interest in the required, with regard to the above statement, evaluate the role of management accountants in environmental management accounting, Emma. So could you kindly give me the roles of management accountants on issues to do with the environment? On issues to do with the environment. Somebody give me a list of there should be very many items. So many areas that we can, yes.
Cost determination.
Very good. Remember, the first role of any management accountant is cost ascertainment, yes. So he has to ascertain cost. How much will this product cost us? Looking at all the way. Oh, you know, a management accountant, ladies and gentlemen, looks at what we call the life cycle costing. Does his pricing using the life cycle model. And a life cycle, if you can recall, ladies and gentlemen, and a life cycle costing, we have this. So we have what we call research and development. After research and development, we have what we call birth stage. After birth, of course, if we are healthy, once we eat some celery, we expect to grow. So we have the growth stage. And then, ladies and gentlemen, here we'll be having what we call the maturity. And of course, after maturity, now we expect you to do what here? To decline. So hata binadamu, kuna katu na zaliwa. Hata binadamu unazaliwa. Don't ask me what happens here, but kuna kuzaliwa. You grow, you mature, and then decline, mgongo na bend namna hii. And then of course, lastly here we have what we call death, and what here? Withdrawal from this world. The same case with these like pens products here. So especially at the withdrawal stage, we'll be having so many environmental issues, and a good accountant, management accountant for environment, should be able to capture all these costs, including environmental costs. Yes, cost ascertainment, I like that. Number 2?
Number 2 was that capital investment decision.
Yes, the same concept. Under capital investment decisions, we shall have to employ Services of an environmental management accountant, because we'll be able to figure in all these figures here to do with what year environment and bring those cash flows like that. So capital, investment, decisions, yes, we have to employ this guy. Number 3.
Provision of information.
Yes, just like the normal management accountants. Remember, management accounting is all about blogging. It's all about giving information to managers that they shall use to make a decision what year to make informed decisions. So I like that information, provision of information. Thank you very much. They'll have to, and that is why a great management accountant in the form of environment issues, you have to study quite a lot. You have to study quite a lot. Any other point?
Performance evaluation.
Performance evaluation. This person will be setting up targets on the basis of environmental issues. That you, team, if you're able to cut from the environment this particular percentage, we shall be able to give you this. So the moment we follow through the progress of the team here, we shall be measuring their performance. Just like the normal management accountant, performance evaluation is a key component. There is one thing you guys are forgetting: pricing. It's very important. Don't talk of cost ascertainment without saying something to do with pricing. I've not heard, ladies and gentlemen, anybody talking about, remember we have what we call POCC. The five functions of management. The five functions of management, we have like planning. Ladies and gentlemen, the management accountant will be involved in the planning, in budgets, on issues to do with what year? Issues to do with the environment. Yes. So we have all this. Like now we have communication, is what this gentleman or lady spoke about, provision of what information. We have issues to do with controlling. So all these are points that I should be able to bring forth and explain them very, very well. So if I say good night, will I be out of order? But of course, there must be some homework in regards to this topic. It's important I give you homeworks, even though you don't do them. So we shall start from there in our next lesson, ladies and gentlemen, and we should be able to get, of course, a few questions on this EMA thing before we go to issues to do with budgets and the variance analysis, an area which I would want us to take some time there. Yes. There are so many questions. You can just try, like this one of November 2017. November 2017, question number 5A is your homework. So any general question before we disconnect? I hope the class has been helpful to you. I always strive as much as possible to give you very practical aspects, so that when we meet after 5 years from today, we'll tell you taught me this thing, and then I applied it. So I hope you have enjoyed the class. More so, our colleagues coming from Summit Institute, you should give us some feedback. You should give us some feedback. Thank you very much. Have a good night. See you in our next class, which will be tomorrow. Yes.
Class was great.
Thank you.
Very helpful.
Great. Thank you very much.
Night.
Okay.
Who is he? Dr. Lucy.
Okay.
Hi, Daktari.
Hi.
Are you able to?
Hi, Daktari. How are you?
Well, yeah, we have just finished.
Ehe.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa.
Ehe.
Wacha nikupigie simu kando
Kando, sawa kabisa. Okay.
Sawa.
Perhaps could you say hi to your
Wana-
students?
Hi, how are you? Habari zenyu? Let me put on the video.
You put on the video, yes. They need to see
Yes.
you.
How is everybody? How was the class? Cynthia, D, Raymond, I can see all of you. Hey, Edith. So mbarikiwe sana
Asante sana. Okay,
asante,
good.
mbarikiwe.
Okay, good. Wacha tuchukue simu tuongee.
Okay, sawa sawa.
Thank you.
Okay, asante.
And
And